Hey everyone, I'm the Tom, welcome to my gaming channel. Today I'm playing another episode of Automation, the car company tycoon game. And for today I am actually going to build a truck. And it's not going to be, you know, one of my own company's lineup. So I'm not gonna add the signature grille that I normally add on my cars. It's just gonna be a good old truck with a big V8, and actually a V8 that I will tune to behave like a diesel. We don't have diesel engines in the game yet, but there is a way to kind of make diesel engines, not really, but I'll explain what I mean as we move along. We want this thing to be corrosion resistant steel, longitudinal, so we can fit a bigger engine. McPherson strut for the same reason and because it's more common on trucks like this. And leaf springs because the Dodge Ram has them as well. I know the Dodge Ram is not a good car to, you know, to use as one of your ideal trucks, for say, like it's really far behind as far as suspension technology goes, at least the previous generation, you know, the one where they also fit in the Viper V10 and so on. I don't know what the internal code for that Dodge Ram model is, but first of all we want a big grille. So now in the mod pack there's a bunch of new grills that look really good. And I'm just gonna try something here, make this bigger. That makes it look a little bit more high class, if you will. Put this down here, and then maybe some headlights like these right there. Oh, that actually looks awful. It looks totally awful. What if we just go for a more simple way and put like some of these here? That looks even worse. Maybe we'll just remove the grille for once and start with the headlights. No, those don't fit on an old school truck body shell. What do we actually want on this thing? Some custom made ones? Something like this. And then some of those on the bottom end. And then maybe something like this. Okay. Come on. Please work. Good. Now we're gonna put some smaller circular lamps in here to actually give it some eyes. I'm not gonna bother, you know, making those as precise as possible. I will still put this into the proper position though. And I'm gonna fill everything out here. So those are gonna be the headlights here. And now we can choose what kind of grille we want on this thing. How does this look actually? We can put this bit. Can we? Okay, we can move it. put that between the headlights. Put the badge on it. And then put maybe one of those down here. Not all the way though, we want this to go like here. Basically the same length as the main grille. Then right in the center we want the number plate. So everyone can identify us right away, for better or for worse. We're gonna put some fog lights down here. And I think this actually looks alright. And then we're on the side we want some indicators, and later on we're gonna put some, or actually right now we're gonna put some door handles on it as well. Otherwise, you know, people would not be able to get in, and you know, would be terrible. Actually, they might be able to go in, jump onto the rear of the truck, and then smash the rear window and break in. But that would probably only work once. So I think it's better to have something a little bit more reliable, a little bit more accessible, like a simple door handle. Anyway, on the rear end we want some pretty simple tail lights. Something like this. And maybe even put one of these below it. I'm not sold on that one yet though. Does this actually look alright? Well, it does. I mean, trucks are never really meant to be pretty, but you know, at the same time nobody wants their vehicle to look ugly. Like, terribly ugly, at least. But most truck drivers don't care about how their truck looks. Or maybe that's just a prejudice that I have, and maybe that's totally wrong. Maybe truck drivers actually are just like us car enthusiasts who care about the looks of their preferred vehicle quite a lot. Anyway, we're gonna put some exhausts down. And there's that. And now I'm gonna go to this section right here, paint this thing like blue. Well, actually the grill is just a little bit too big. That looks better. Okay, yeah, blue's alright. Let's not mess with the color too much. So we're gonna make it all-wheel drive. Should we make it rear-wheel drive? Let's go all-wheel drive for now. And yeah, now I'm gonna show you guys how to build a somewhat similar engine to a diesel. We're gonna make it from cast iron, because as far as I know, diesels have to be made from cast iron. That's why they're so heavy. We're gonna go for a long stroke, which is one of the signature characteristics of pretty much any diesel engine. And a shorter bore. We want this to be like... Actually, I want this thing to be a pretty damn... like a real torque monster. So I want this to be like 7 liters, like we have right now. Yeah, so there's many options here. Personally, I want to go for the dual overhead cam with 4 valves per cylinder because it's just very common these days, even for a diesel engine. We want forged steel so we can handle the torque, and we want forged H-beam conrods and some forged, actually a low friction cast. No, they'll probably not be able to handle the torque, so we're gonna go over here, select a pretty low cam profile like 30, and then I'll just keep the compression ratio at 9 here, because we are not gonna run very much boost on a turbocharger, because we want the boost to come in very early. That's also one of the signature characteristics of a diesel engine, is that the boost comes in really early. So what we're gonna do is lower the maximum boost to like 0.7 bars, and maybe increase the AR ratio to like 0.9, because we do want some power out of this engine. Good, so we're gonna go for a direct injection 1. With the premium unleaded, because I think it's most realistic to simulate with this type of gas rather than, you know, super, or on the other hand regular. We want very high ignition timing, because higher ignition timing makes it so the power, the maximum power is a little bit earlier, is reached a little bit earlier than if you have very retarded ignition timing. Devs, please fix that. So short-cast headers is the only type of headers we get with turbochargers in general. So we want this thing to be quiet, and let's test it. It might even fail at the first test right here. I'm not totally sure yet. It probably will, because the torque looks pretty low for a 7-liter twin turbocharged. Yeah, and the engine's knocking. Not anymore. This part is restricting airflow through the engine, and that is the exhaust. So if we make this a little bit bigger, it turned green, and then this part is restricting airflow. Is that the turbine or the compressor? I'm not sure. The reliability looks fine though. 77.2, 372 horsepower. It's not that great, but we are making 35.1% fuel efficiency. It's actually not that great either. That actually made it worse. I'm constantly checking this economy value here, just so you know why I'm so silent. Good, 215.2. AR ratio makes it better as well, up to a certain point only. And you can see here that the maximum boost is now reached later than before. Currently at 2100 RPM, and that's a little bit too late for my likings, to be honest. So I'm gonna lower this, despite the fact that it would benefit the economy and the power to keep it a little bit higher. We might also decrease the maximum boost to 0.6, which makes it so we produce 350 horsepower. We can now go for 9.0 compression ratio again. We can even go 9.1, making 353 horsepower. And actually I should consider increasing the quality of the turbochargers, because that'll make it so the turbocharger responds even a little bit more quickly, and will also give us a few extra points in economy. Now this is not the most efficient V8 I've ever built by far, but I think you get the idea here. It is to build a low revving engine that responds really early, like where the turbocharger kicks in really early, and that has a very low cam profile. Actually, we might even go for this, and now we are knocking, but we can change that quite easily here. Bottom end part is reducing reliability, and that is obviously gonna be the pistons, but not very much. Like 74.9 is still fine. And now we're at 41.23% economy just by swapping out the pistons. So I think this is fine. 351 horsepower is enough for a truck. We want an automatic gearbox with probably 6, maybe even 5 ratios. I'm gonna go for 6 though, it's more modern. And you want this thing to run a little bit more than 200 kilometers an hour, because it's gonna be able to do it. 33, we want 60% of the power on the rear. I just think this is the best power distribution of an all-wheel drive system. We want hard long life road tires. A lot of tire profile. Like, a lot. And then like 225s front, 245s rear. Do we have some more space available? No, we do not. What sizes? We can. I think we can make do with this. Put some different rims on it. I want a high tire profile for more comfort and for more drivability, and you can actually see the radiator here and the air intake of the engine sticking out of the car. Not very, you know, not very attractive, but it is what it is. Vented discs might actually be pretty good for this car, but it would be a pretty. It would be quite a contrast to, you know, the leaf spring suspension setup. So I'm just gonna go for solid discs with like 265s rear. We don't want under tray cladding or let alone, you know, downforce on the tray, so we don't have to mess with the wing angles. We can reduce the cooling to a little bit more than we need, just so you know it won't overheat in, like, if you drive it in like the Sahara or something like that, where it needs more cooling than average. And then we're gonna go to the interior, where we want 2 pretty nice seats with some standard infotainment, all the driver aids except launch control, because let's be honest, who needs that on a truck? And then we want good safety, like really good safety, because trucks are usually not very safe. At least you know, in the 80s, when the trucks had really short bonnets and or the engine was in the rear and the driver cabin was right up front, like at the very front. I think there was a Mitsubishi, I don't recall the name of that van, but also the Volkswagen Bus, like, or the Volkswagen Transporter from some earlier days. It was right up front here. There was the driver cabin, and whenever you crashed into something, you were basically dead, which means you could only crash into something once. But Anyway, we're gonna go for hydro pneumatic, I think. Then with some twin tube dampers, and might even be best to go for off-road sway bars, because if anything, with a rear-wheel drive, with an all-wheel drive setup, I should say, you might as well use it off-road from time to time. But I'm gonna go for a comfort preset here, because most of the time you're gonna be delivering something on the road. But in case you need to go off-road, you have the off-road sway bars. Great thing to have, right? That's something that every buyer of this truck will look into. And we have a sportiness rating of 0.0, so don't expect this thing to be fast. Actually, 6.8 seconds from 0 to 100 is not terrible. (198.5 kilometers an hour), so we could not quite get to the set goal of 200 kilometers an hour. Maybe we can if we adjust just a little bit more. Oh, that made it worse actually. If we go for a little bit less cooling airflow, just a little bit. No, we're still not reaching it. Okay, whatever then. Just for shits and giggles, how does it do around the Eiffel track? 145.4. It's actually about as fast as Top Gear's reasonably priced car with a 2.2 ton truck. Okay, not too shabby then. Whatever. I think I'm done with this. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, please click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Also consider subscribing if you want to see more content in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.